There we go.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to KingsAdvisors. This is Dan. I'm joined by my co-host, Caleb.
What's up?
And today we're here to chat with each other. There's a bunch of stuff in the news, and there's some stuff on each other's minds. And so, Caleb, what did you want to start on live with?
So we were we were going to start with just talking about how we just finished our National Treasure episode 7 review. And so I guess that is how we started. But this is what I want to start with, Dan. I want to see your live reaction. Just in, Alec Baldwin charged with involuntary manslaughter for fatal rush shooting.
Wow.
That. Now let me do a little Googling, make sure this isn't just CNN, NPR, Deadline, Fox, New York Times. Yeah, they're all saying he will be charged with involuntary manslaughter.
Geez, what state did it happen in again?
Are
they state charges or are they federal charges?
Well, it's not a capital offense, so it wouldn't be federal.
Well, it just depends on, was that gun from the state they were in? You know what I mean? There's a whole lot of issues.
Oh, yeah, true.
He's an out-of-state actor. He could always want to plead in his state. You know what I mean?
New Mexico, I believe.
New Mexico. Oh, there's a whole lot of factors here I just don't know. But that's crazy. Well, I never thought they'd do anything with him. I guess I thought it would all be civil and it would just be dropped.
Yeah, Santa Fe, New Mexico. Prosecutors announced Thursday that actor Alec Baldwin and a weapons specialist will be charged with involuntary manslaughter in the fatal shooting of cinematographer who was killed in 2021 on a New Mexico movie set. That's wow. I like you. I did not expect anything to happen with that.
Involuntary manslaughter. That's like the least charge.
Yeah. Now, do you want to walk people through what that means?
I mean, it's just there's different. So this is where I kind of got into like what jurisdiction is it and what are the relevant facts here. I was kind of jumping the gun, but there's a lot of interesting things about the way we prosecute for offenses like this, like where people are dead. It actually all comes back from our Anglo law that hails back from the Viking era and what they would call as a virgild, which is when, let's say, your neighbor kills your son and he was worth, essentially, the council would come together and the Jarl would decree, he's worth this much amount of money. We have to move on. Can't bring him back. So that's where we kind of get our whole entire concept. Like that's where we get our Anglo concept of damages in a lot of ways. And it kind of harkens back to this right now where it's like, what is this debt to society? And so the way we view that is such that what happened? Was it an accident? And that's kind of what it seems like the charge is alleging, that it was an accident. Like involuntary manslaughter. I mean, manslaughter, somebody's dead and, somebody's at fault here, whether it's negligence or it's got in the biz, we call, the mens rea or the intent. And, that's where it really gets gritty, is because that's where the facts come out. Oh, he's not the kind of guy who's a killer. Here's where, but that's not what's happening here. It seems like if anybody were to make a case, if the state isn't going to bring, a murder case and they're just going to go with the involuntary manslaughter, it's a very generous offer. I'm sure he's going to accept it. But it seems the reason they brought it is because negotiations would have broken down.
Yeah, in order to prove, murder, they'd have to prove intent. And intent's
they got to prove two things. Just to backtrack before we move forward, they have to prove actus reus. You need mens rea and you need actus, which is the act, which everybody knows he did it. So that's right. The other thing. So.
And
go on, Caleb.
Intent would be the difficult thing to prove because I think in like one of the first 2 days when this happened, there was this article that it was probably like a Daily Mail article that said something like, he had just broken up with this lady or his best friend. There was some sort of like lovers quarrel type thing that,
Allegedly,
yeah,
allegedly.
yes,
This is all
100% allegedly.
allegedly.
And the mere fact that I haven't heard a single thing about that since that like one day leads me to believe it's probably just some shoddy journalism. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's where intent would come in if there actually was a reason behind doing something. But there's from every article we've read, every news report, all that, there hasn't been any anything to show any sort of intent behind this. This is a tragic accident that happened. Someone should still be held accountable. Safety measures should be made better, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, someone's dead, and Alec Baldwin is the person that pulled the trigger, and Alec Baldwin should be held accountable. Now, it seems like New Mexico has found a relatively equal way of parsing blame here, with charging both the armorer. Is that who it was? Let me back up
The
here.
weapons expert or the armorer, I think they call it.
Yeah, the person that gave him the gun, I guess. And himself. Now, again, we said involuntary manslaughter. What he could wind up getting, is probably so little that it'll wind up being a joke in and of itself, especially when you consider that all the other stuff that's happened. But hang on. This article says he's being charged with 2 counts. Did 2 people die?
Yeah. Was she pregnant? Yikes. Yeah, you really need to see the pleading. Would be the best thing.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right on that. Okay, Rust Armorer Hannah Gutierrez Reed will also be charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter. Assistant Director David Halls has agreed to plead guilty to negligent use of a deadly weapon. The terms include a suspended sentence and 6 months probation, which is probably similar to something that he will get himself. He'll probably get a suspended sentence, which what that means is your sentence could be, a year, months, something like that in jail, and that's suspended. So you basically go on probation. And if you get in trouble again, that sentence is you are then put in jail for whatever that sentence is. Let's see. Heather Brewer, a spokeswoman for the district attorney's office, announced the decision on Thursday morning.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm gonna have to read the pleading because
yeah, no, I agree.
That's gonna take steps, and I'm not sure if that's something we really want to do on stream. And yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's crazy. That's crazy news. You were right to save that for the news for for live.
Yeah, I can't figure out why he's getting 2 counts, because it doesn't say anything about her being pregnant. Yeah. Okay.
It's probably not 2 counts of the same. Is it 2 counts of the same thing? I mean, it would just be 2 different charges if there's.
It says. I mean, this is basically a normie writing a article that someone with some sort of legal experience should write, but yeah, it says Alec Baldwin will be charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter in Rust shooting.
Wow. Does it say if it's what jurisdictions it's in?
New Mexico.
Oh, so it's state. Okay, so it's
Yeah,
only state.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Okay. Well, that's definitely sad.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel terrible for the family and all they're going through. I hope that. I really hope they get the justice civilly that they deserve. But
Okay.
in the spirit of all things healing, Caleb, I wanted to show you that map again. Do you think it's something you'd be interested in?
This one. Okay, yeah. Let me put that on screen. Share screen. Tab. I just want to do a tab. There we go. Okay. So as anyone that's ever watched anything we've done, we are very, very big fans of Game of Thrones and just a Song of Ice and Fire in general. If George ever decides to actually do his job and finish Winds of Winter, we will be very happy people. And this excuse me, this map comes from Danny. You have the guy's name, don't you?
Yeah, it was posted by a user on the Song of Ice and Fire subreddit that goes by the name of JB Adams 24. It was posted 3 days ago. Very, very well done. It's a hand-drawn map of Westeros with the sigils. I just blew my mind.
Fantastic.
It's so good. It's so good. I highly encourage. We'll put the link in the description, but we highly encourage you to go and take a look at this. Upvote it if you're on Reddit. It's so cool. And the only way you really start is just at the top. We don't have to go.
I'm going to go ahead and put it
I'm
going ahead and putting it in the chat right now.
Yeah, that's fine. I can talk about it if you've got it up there.
Yeah.
Let me take a look at it. Yeah. So just where you have it, you can see.
Yeah, let's go back up. So we're up here at the top of the north. I love how he's done the wall. It's I don't know what I love about it. I just love that you got all the castles.
Well, there's not 19. That's but they have the most of them. They have the Shadow Tower, Night Forest,
East Watch by the Sea,
East Watch, and they even have tiny little Queen's Crown there.
Which one's Queen's Crown?
It's a tiny little thing to the left of Mole Town. It's where all pass by in the old Flint Hills.
Yeah, the Molestown brothel.
Yep. But
even Bear Island.
Cool. Yeah,
Bear Island, who knows no king but the king of the north, whose name is Stock.
And they did a good job, I think, adding all the hill tribes up here. Mm-hmm. That's a bunch of them, and that's cool, man. I think it's cool stuff. You don't see a lot of maps that have all the sigils and all the names with the beautiful drawing, the beautiful land.
What do they know of the Wolf's Wood? I'm picturing. Remember how awesome Game of Thrones was?
Dude, I was obsessed with it for so long.
I miss that. I miss being happy like that.
It was just the best part of it, I hate to say is the theories now.
Yeah.
Just the absolute madness going on in the subreddit of just people just please give us the book, George. I mean, the theories that are coming out now are just.
Well, I'll tell you, when we were talking about this yesterday, you had a very cool realization that there are no rivers going into Westeros from the west, except down here by Lannisport. So there's a realization that when the Iron Islanders ruled the Riverlands, that they docked in the mid, probably over here by Old Stones or somewhere over here by the Crag, and went inland. They carried their probably carried their boats to the Forks and went down that way. It's very Vikingish.
It's what the only thing that would be. I mean, I think we kind of came to that yesterday. Well, yeah, we come to that yesterday, and it was just interesting. We were going through how the rivers would work, and it's just I don't know if you're river people, if they got boats and stuff. How you got to march them across, or you land in the Whispering Wood and you build them, and then you move in through there because the Iron Islands just to terrorize the Riverlands.
Yeah,
And,
well, you remind me the other day. It was them that built Harrenhal.
Yeah, absolutely. That's they're the ones who were terrorizing the continent so badly that Aegon the Conqueror had to come over and say, hey, knock it off. And then he just didn't stop because it was for a good reason. But now that I'm looking at the map, there's probably tons of creeks that run through there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that you've got so on one of the other maps I saw the mountains right here aren't the mountains by River Spring and Hornvale. They're not as massive as they look on this one. So, it's always possible that, well, no, I was going to say it's possible they went up this river, but they likely wouldn't have gone that close to Lannisport or Castle Rock. That would have been terrifying.
It depends. They did, there was a huge battle outside of Lannisport during Greyjoy's rebellion. So they did attack the Westerlands.
Well, yeah, but it was a sneak attack.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't call it a sneak attack. Stannis Baratheon knew the only way to take them was at night when they weren't expecting it. It was a daring night sea raid. I mean, what is more badass than that? Against the Ironborn.
I'll tell you, definitely somehow forgetting about Euron Greyjoy and his fleet. That's very badass.
You're forgetting about him? Oh, well, that's going to be the big battle of blood down there.
I wish I could be that cool and just somehow forget about the largest fleet ever assembled.
I mean, that's kind of cool. We'll see what it does, I guess. I'm talking facts. This happened.
And then you've got the western portion of Essos over here, from Bravos all the way down to Lys. But yeah, I big fan of this map. I'd love to see him sell copies because I would buy one in a heartbeat.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so cool. Dude, a print that size would be so cool, like behind you on a wall or something.
Oh yeah.
And especially if he picked up like some real, like if like commercial people really kind of stepped in, not to scam him out of money, I hope not. But like, because this is his creation, he should definitely get all the credit for it, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's wonderful. But if they really made it like filled in a lot of the blanks, and like put some money behind it, then
yeah. I mean, this is probably something that he's just been working on in his free time, but this could be worth something.
Yeah, because what it reminds me of is like a true medieval map.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing.
And not so medieval. Like I'm sure a medieval map expert, when they ever listen to this, is gonna just be rocking in his seat because
Shad's waiting to tell you how wrong you are.
Oh, I know. But it reminds me more of that than some of the more like. And don't get me wrong, I love the interactive map.
Yeah, that's a really cool map. We showed it on here before.
And but this has like that feel that like it's been, you roll it up and you're traveling and you're like, we got to go this way to Ravenwood Hall, Yeah. Also, somebody pointed this out to me today. If you zoom in on like right above the Red Fork, you'll see the classic Bracken and Blackwood rivalry. That's where their lands are. And you can hit Control and scroll on your mouse, and it should zoom in even farther.
Okay. Okay. Oh, there we are.
So this like centuries old rivalry, if you see like Raventree Hall and Stonehenge, like the Blackwoods and the Brackens are the horse, I think. And I feel bad saying this, but I think because the Blackwoods are the old. They have
the tree with the black background.
Yeah. But somebody pointed this out to me. So this is like one of the most famous rivalries in Westeros. Like how many people have like died. Like every war, they're on the other side of it from each other.
Yeah.
You know, it's Rohan and Gondor's sigils.
It is. That is funny.
Isn't that crazy? It's even a white tree. Like I'll give it to red horse, like not like maybe like a white horse on a green shield, but it's pretty funny that it's a tree and a horse. Like I don't know, that's probably a dig. It's probably a dig.
I don't know why, but I think because they're at the meeting at Storm's End in House of the Dragon, I think I just assumed they were down here in the Stormlands.
Oh no, yeah, because they're both suiting for her hand, which
right, you would assume
doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, well, you would kind of assume that the princess is going to the seats of every kingdom, and all the eligible bachelors are going to show up to the seat, and not just all of the ones from below the neck are going to show up at Storm's End.
Yeah, was she in Storm's End, or was she in the Riverlands? I know she was on her tour.
Yeah, they were at Storm's End.
Yeah.
Oh wait. No, they were. Oh shoot. No, because we
I thought they were still in King's Landing when that happened.
No, they weren't in King's Landing. I know that.
Yeah, maybe not, because you couldn't just draw steel in front of the princess like that in King's Landing. But you know what's crazy is that well, I agree. If she was going on tours, she would have gone to Storm's End. She would have gone to Highgarden. She would have gone to Casterly Rock. She would have gone to wherever she would have gone. Probably to Harrenhal was probably the capital of Riverlands. No, the River Run was, because the Tullys were raised up by Aegon the Conqueror. That's why.
Let's see. That's just telling me the filming locations.
But yeah. So that would make more sense if she was like at River Run and the Brackens and the Blackwoods did that, because they'd feel more comfortable. Like we're here at River Run. Maybe, they'd still be visiting, but they'd feel more comfortable. But yeah. So there was another thing I was going to show you too, was just how cool the cities look like down in the south. Like you see how big King's Landing is. Like on the map, that is like how good the detail is for like kind of style of map, and then like how big Old Town is, and it kind of really put in perspective that like Otto Hightower and his brother are they run New York City, they're just like the biggest
definitely
city. So all the commerce and all the like power and prestige that comes with urban life they control. So like it'd be cooler if there was a bank out of Old Town. Like if there was a banking, academic, and religious,
Well, it's probably not something that would be extremely awesome to watch, but it would definitely be a cool thing to read about. But there's got to be more than just the Iron Bank of Bravos. Surely there's more banks,
or at least other people are aware that how banking works, right? Like I mean, like. You're like, oh, there's a bank over there. And it's like, what do they do? And it's like, well, they keep your money, and then they loan their money out. They loan your money out to other people so they can make money off of keeping your money, but they don't keep my money. Okay, well, now I'm going to get our stream demonetized.
Yeah. Well, we're not monetized yet either.
That's true, but I'm still bragging about it.
Yeah. Let's see. I was really hoping to get... Which one dies? Bracken?
Yeah, I think so, because the Blackwoods are viewed as like a little bit like they're first men.
Yeah, you know what? They must have been at the Riverlands, because the thing said they must have been at River Run, because the thing said the wiki says Sir Amos Bracken was a knight from House Bracken. Amos defeated Samwell Blackwood in a duel when Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen visited the Trident.
So I got it backwards then. It was...
Yeah, they must have been a River Run.
It was a small... I thought it was a small Blackwood got the Bracken. I might be wrong. I'll have to look at it
again. Or maybe House of the Dragon got it wrong.
Oh, but that's in the book? What that person's citing?
Yeah, I mean, it's the Song of Ice and Fire wiki, so I assume it is.
Apparently that's got
No,
merit
no.
behind
It is. Yeah, it's cited Fire and Blood heirs the dragon, a question of
Yeah.
succession.
I feel like there needs to be just a giant forest in Westeros. Like I know there's the King's Wood and the Whispering Wood and the Wolf's Wood, but like down in like the
And the
down over
Rainwood.
in the Reach, yeah, the Rainwood, but like in the Reach and like in like where.
Well, there
King's
probably
Fall-
is. There probably is. The only
Yeah, you're
issue is
right.
there's
Yeah,
so many
you're right.
houses down
Yeah.
here that he can't draw the entire forest.
Yeah. What am I talking about? It's good the way it is.
Yeah,
It's
like
not
remember the sweeping shot of Horn Hill.
Yeah.
There's forest all over the place.
That's true.
And there would be, because that's one of the ways you prevent armies from moving about.
And also at the same time, like
It's
people use them,
kind of like a
wood.
Yeah, it's kind of a natural Maginot Line.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah. So I just wanted to show, I wanted to go over this a little bit more with you. I thought it was fun. We did it a little bit yesterday. I was just kind of teasing you with it. But yeah, man, I think it's a cool thing. I think the person should definitely go and check it out. People should go like it. We'll talk about it more if people respond positively to this. I would, I think it's a good map to use to describe a lot of what happens in Westeros, because you kind of got to know the region. You kind of got to know who the people are, and the sigils help that a lot. And as long as you know the sigils, then you can figure out the houses.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool. It's like a cool old map, and somebody worked really hard on it. Took my eye, and I think it's great.
Yeah, hats off to the guy. Big fan. I'd love to buy one.
Yeah, I would be interested in one as well, even if it's a small print. I would take it over what's it called? A magnifying glass.
Oh, exactly.
It's so cool.
And on that note, it has been 4,205 days since Against Dragons was published.
Yes. Now, have you heard anything, or are you excited at all for the War of the Rohirrim?
I am very excited. It is, you got Miranda Otto is reprising her role as Eowyn. She will narrate the story. I'm very excited for that.
Oh, that is so slick. So it's going to be definitely tied in with the Peter
Jackson.
Well,
they have to. They have to tie it in order to maintain their ownership of the rights.
So they can, yes, and that's true. But they can, whatchamacallit, they can actually keep their universe alive as a counter universe to the Rings of Power universe if they play their cards right. If this does well, I think we're in for a real treat here. I mean, have you seen the concept art?
Some of it. I'll tell you what I just found out. Do you know who's voicing Helm Hammerhead?
No, I didn't. See, this is what I'm glad I haven't heard much news about it lately.
Brian Cox.
Oh, I gotta look. Oh, nice! No wonder his picture's coming up.
Yeah,
dude, that is gonna be really
also,
good.
I thought what is Peter Jackson's wife's name?
I have no idea of stuff like that. I dropped a link in the private chat for a cool image from the anime coming up, or at least it's promotional for it.
Okay, 1 second. Okay. I think Fran Walsh is his wife. Nope, Philippa Boyens is his wife. Okay.
Oh, that's his actual wife.
Yes, I thought Fran Walsh was writing it. But she's not. Jeffrey Addis, Phoebe Giddens is one of the screenplay writers. She wrote, or is known for, The Lovely Bones and The Sorrows. And then the other screenplay writer is, I can't. Artie Papa Giorgio.
Papa Giorgio.
Oh wow, bravo.
Well, it's just it's a Greek name, Caleb.
Okay, sorry, I'm not Greek.
Neither am I.
Is also known for The Sorrows. Okay, so you got two people that did The Sorrows that are on this. I've never heard of it before, but Bernard Hill is in The Sorrows.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that is coming around.
As is.
Oh no.
I'm gonna share this. And let me know what the first thing you notice is. This is the cast for the Sorrows. Do you see her?
Oh, sorry, it was a whole nother list. Can you zoom in a little bit? Or maybe I should go full screen. Let's see. Oh, no. Oh. Well, I see Bernard Hill's in it. Oh, what
Yep.
girl's in it?
The woman that ended the King of the North is in it. Oh, Anna Chaplin.
Who's that?
Well, let's.
Oh, that's Talisa. Oh my God,
Yep.
It's been years since I've seen her.
Mm,
Oh my gosh.
not happy.
Oh, a show only creation that was bad and didn't make any sense. You know, she was from Volantis in the show.
Yeah.
What? Why? She was the daughter of like a war party, and everyone thought there was like, wow, the Tigers are going to get involved because there's like a whole thing going on in Volantis.
Yeah. Well, she was in the book. She's the daughter of a lord of the Westerlands, isn't she?
In the book, she's from the Crag. Yeah.
Yeah. Her family owes allegiance to
Jane Westerling of
Yeah.
Cashley Rock, and people think that the mom worked with Tywin to have her daughter seduce Rob.
Oh.
Because at the time, it was at the Crag he received the news that Theon had killed Bran and Rickon, and his father was dead, so there was no more heirs. So that's when he decides to do the right thing, and that's when he thinks of Jon. A lot of people think, because you don't get a Rob POV, but that's when people think he thinks of Jon, and he remembers that what it's like to have a bastard, and so he marries Jane Westerling and breaks his pact with the phrase
Twins.
thus, and then he names Jon his heir.
Yeah,
and
that's a good chapter. That's a Catelyn POV, right?
Oh yeah, because she begs him not to.
Well, yeah.
She's like he's like, I can't name it to Sansa. Arya is as good as dead, and Bran and Rickon are dead. It's got to be Jon.
Yep, and she doesn't want him to do it. What's to her credit in that chapter? Let me stop sharing that. Let me pull up this art while we talk about it.
While we talk about it, we don't have to go back to it.
To her credit.
One,
real quick, to Catelyn's credit, she does say, or she does think that she wishes she could love him.
Oh yeah,
okay.
I'm not a Catelyn hater. I think she's fine.
So this is not the War of the Ring is not the first time Rohan has faced the Easterlings.
No, and I guess to do it proper justice, we'd need a map of Middle Earth. But just to explain how this could happen. But this is what happens in Middle Earth.
Do you need a map of Middle Earth or a map of Arda?
Just Middle Earth is fine.
Okay.
I can explain it fine with Middle Earth. But anyway, in summary, so at this time, Gondor was more of like an imperial power. They were like outstretched into far lands, and Rohan was a kingdom that was a border state for them. So like, Rohan
I might be buying this. I might buy this.
Okay.
It's sorry. It's a I found a map and it's to buy, and I might buy it.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I want to get one of those too. That's gorgeous.
Okay. Is that I think I need a different
I need a
map.
larger one, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Hang on.
It's okay, because I gotta be able to show Umbar, because that's a big important part of this. It should be at least, and I'd imagine it would be for them, because
you need to show where's that again?
I'll find a map. You talk about the art in a little bit, and I'll find the map.
Yeah, so let me go back to that art. Present, share screen. Yeah, so it's animated. I feel like I've heard different things. It's either anime in Japanese style, or it's anime in American style in the way that Avatar was done. And so it's either Western writing and Japanese animation, or it's Japanese writing and Western animation. I can't remember. I feel like I've read differing accounts. But yeah, look, you got Edoras back there in the background. And what's going to be interesting is you think back, you hearken back to that scene in The Two Towers where Théoden decides he cannot fight here. They have to flee to Helm's Deep. He does not want to face open war. Open war is upon you, whether you would risk it or not.
I shared the map in the new. Yeah.
Here is the map. Let me see if I can zoom in. Yep.
That'd be great. Yeah. So just all we need to do is show that dot in the bottom. So that dot in the bottom is Umbar. It's actually a really important place in Middle Earth. It's where Sauron's forces met the Númenóreans in what was supposed to be a large battle. And the Númenóreans' forces were so massive and so mighty that they actually humbled Sauron into just surrendering. So they erected a pillar there. It's like a white pillar, like Isengard is a black pillar, right? And it's like the pillar of Umbar. And it used to be a Gondorian outpost. All the lands between Umbar and Gondor used to be Gondorian. Just right all the way up those rivers, Ithilien, all of that. And not many people lived there, and Umbar was the only city around there. And it soon fell into black Númenórean hands. They got their hands on it after Númenor fell. And so that's kind of how the city kind of became like an antithesis, like a side in the thorn of Gondor. And over time, they would gain more lands and bring more tribes in from the east and under their banner, and the city would grow. And they would occasionally be able to strike out at Gondor. Now, this is where I kind of was talking about earlier, how at this time in this story, Gondor is like an imperial power. And with Gondor, it's like Rome in a lot of ways, where the power wanes and waxes. And, this is like the story where Rome never wanes at the end and wins the battle, and they're, in our future, they're fine. But, whereas in Rome, it doesn't. So here they're pressed. So when they sail around, the reason Rohan is even at risk is because Gondor's fighting up in their usual areas around Belfalas and on the southern coast and along like the country of Gondor. Whereas this force of Umbar sails around west of Gondor and sails in the rivers up to Isen. So that's how they actually unload, and they're able to pour into Rohan and cause another front, because Gondor's they owe allegiance to Rohan. So when Rohan falls under attack, like if Gondor falls under attack, Rohan would call to their aid. They have a broken arrow or red arrow pact. So it's another front of the war for Gondor. So this is made up of Haradrim and Dunlendings, which is the area north of Isengard. And so, so that's why this force looks so like, you're like, what? It's kind of confusing at first. And then you get into what it is. And it's actually like orcs and Haradrim, which explains the Mumakil. And it's also going to be made up of Dunlendings, because apparently the main antagonist's name in this is I know, German people would not say I'm pronouncing this right, but it's Wolf, W-U-L-F, and I think it's Wolf. Like, that's how I would imagine. I mean, it's also made up, so it doesn't really matter in this context.
Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Star Wars Dog. I got to meet this guy in a stream I did, or a stream I joined on X-Wing's channel, and he just hopped in the chat. I wanted to say hi. Den, real quick, I think this actually might be a better map.
Yeah, go ahead. I just needed to show like how far the scale of this is, because it doesn't really make much sense.
So
other than that,
so you've got Umbar down here, and the Corsairs, the city of the Corsairs, is where the Black Corsairs came from for the Battle of Pelennor Fields.
yes.
So you've got Dol Amroth right here, and Númenor. I feel like showing where Númenor is very important, because one of the issues that Rings of Power had was it didn't. One of the very small issues is it did a very poor job of telling you where anything was, to the point that I was sitting here thinking about one of the episodes I watched, thinking that Numenor was up here above the Iron Mountains and stuff like that, and not in between the two land masses.
Yep, just in between them.
Mm-hmm.
And the world actually wasn't even round at this point in the story.
Yeah, it's still a flat Earth, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, flat Earth is a crude way of saying it, I think, but it's more of like it's all everything's on the same plane.
Yeah. But this is the thing I love about this map is it shows the kind of the different eras all at once. You've got the prior to the War of Light with the Lamps of the Valar, the War of the Trees. Wait.
Oh, actually, this doesn't have Beleriand in it. This is not. This is a Second Age map.
Is it?
Yeah, because to do justice to the First Age map of Middle Earth has Beleriand on it, which to show it's like 3 times the size of Middle Earth. It was all destroyed at the end of the First Age.
In the War of Wrath?
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks way different, and this is where all the Silmarillion takes place, because you really get a feel for how different the world. Sorry, I'm looking for the map, and now I'm getting into Reddit articles about people saying that these maps are not good maps.
Oh, careful! You'll go down a hill there.
I know. I just was looking for the right map, and here we go. I'll put it in the private chat. Yeah, so that's a First Age map I just shared. But again, like if we're just talking about the War of the Rohirrim, I was just trying to explain what the background is for this conflict, because it's such a good idea for them to take these tiny snippets of what is like a war of ages and just show these. Just show me a couple. Just give me one season of, the forging of the rings and Anatar. Like I don't need 7 seasons all condensed. I just need one scene. Really at the end of it, I just need one scene. I just need to see, at first the elves of Lindon not letting Anatar come in, and then the ones of Eregion saying, "You're welcome here. You're gift bearer." Anatar. Yeah. They just show us that. And it's so cruel that they can't take one of the actual most fleshed out things. I'm actually not familiar with what Tamarail is.
It's
I'm sure it's
assuming we're talking about the same thing. It's the landmass from Skyrim. It's the Elder Scrolls world.
That's funny.
That took me a second. I read that and I was like, why do I recognize the name? But yeah, it's the ESO world.
That's so funny.
I enjoyed that. That's really funny. Thanks, Star Wars dog.
That's so funny. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm excited for it because I really think the anime is actually the only way you're going to get quality fantasy in the future.
Anime, or at least animation. I would
even argue Japanese style animation. I actually just kind of really enjoy Attack on Titan.
See, I'm not this is probably going to ruin the channel, but I'm not an anime guy.
It's all right. It's not for everybody.
I tried Attack on Titan, and I just couldn't get into it.
What do you mean you couldn't get into it? That's what I don't understand.
I couldn't get into it.
You didn't think a kid's getting it hit with the giant monsters isn't compelling?
Yeah, no, I gave 2 episodes, dude. Couldn't do it.
Oh, dude, you got to. I know it sounds crazy, but you got to give it more than that.
Yeah, see, this is the problem.
Like 5 or 6 episodes.
See, that's the problem with stuff. Okay, so it's the same idea that a show doesn't really get good till the 3rd season. What?
No, I don't agree with that. I wouldn't even tell you to watch the whole 1st season of something. But this, as your friend, you should watch it a little bit more. Wait until they get their gear and they start moving around and stuff. Because you're 2 episodes in, you're like just meeting the adult versions of Eren and Armin and Mikasa. Dude, it gets really cool. I'm not gonna lie though. Allegedly, I haven't gotten because I'm an anime only, and there's a manga to it. The manga is over, which apparently did not go over well. Which I won't say anymore. But apparently, people are not pleased with the ending of it.
Well, the other thing I think is kind of stupid is that they've done the final season in like 4 different parts, and it's almost like, okay, if you clearly you know how the story's going to end, just do it. Don't sit there and release.
Okay. I can explain that because at the time they were actually just catching up with the manga.
Okay.
So it was actually releasing really like simultaneously a lot of times. Like it was like probably like I think at one point, obviously the manga had started and then they started making the show. But I think they got up to a point where it was like only like 60 issues back. So, or not 60 issues. I don't know how manga distributes. So that sounds like a lot per year, but it could be 2 months. But I know they weren't far behind at a certain point, and they were stopping the show so that way they could release the next batch of manga, and then they would release that part of the show. So they were working simultaneously on the 2.
Okay,
which is really shows like George Martin. It's like
exactly
George.
See, I do like Vinland Saga. I have watched the first season of that, and it's the only anime that I've actually watched. A friend of mine told me to watch it, said I would really enjoy it, so I watched it. Actually, I tell you what happened. So I've been trying to get people to watch The Last Kingdom for a long time, and he said if you watch this, I'll watch that. And so I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And what's really funny was he said to me it's an Amazon exclusive. And it came out, I think I was waiting for the English dub. And about a month later, I saw that the English dub had come out. And so I went to Netflix and typed in Vinland Saga. Or I think I typed in Viking anime or something like that. And what came up was what was it? Let me look at Netflix real quick. It was something like Ragnarok, Record of Ragnarok, maybe. And yeah, Record of Ragnarok, which as far as I can tell is just a tournament of different gods fighting each other. And so, look at that. The new season of Vinland Saga dropped. It comes on Monday. Wait, they're releasing it episode by episode. Never mind. I'm not doing that. I'm waiting. And so so I start watching this Record of Ragnarok thinking that's what the show is that my friend was telling me to watch. And I was like, this is so stupid. Like at one point, Adam, the first human, kills a god. And it's like, what is going on here? And so I'm sitting there, I go to look back through the messages, and I see the actual name. I was like, oh my God, I'm not even watching the correct show. And so I turned it off and started watching the correct show. And Vinland Saga is great. Record of Ragnarok is not.
Yeah, dude, that doesn't sound appealing at all, honestly. Did you see that map of the First Age I put in the chat?
I did, yes.
Isn't that crazy?
See, that's what I would really like a map of on my wall.
Yeah, well, that one, it's almost like some people would say it's not accurate. I literally went down that rabbit hole. Just because it's based off of the sketches of Tolkien himself, people would say. But so that part where the logo is Mordor still, and there's still Gondor, and you can see the Misty Mountains. But then is that before or after they turned on Mount Doom? Let's see. Was the sword key made in the year? Let me go back to my appendices for when the sword key was made. The Keyblade. Kingdom Hearts. Somebody was like, "Oh, I'll make a Keyblade."
Yeah, someone who
game, by the way.
Yeah, someone who the only video game they ever played was Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts, yeah. But yeah, so you got to go north. I mean, this map's fine for what we're talking about for War of the Rohirrim. It's actually pretty good with the river because you really want to stretch that river up there, and you can really see Dunland on this map in the north, and where they're going to be picking up allies and sailing in and laying siege to Rohan. Because if I'm not mistaken, these pictures. Dang, did I close them out? I think that's the
I did.
sun setting behind Rohan, so they're facing the west, or that's the sun rising behind Rohan, so they're facing the east. No, I don't know. Either way, I think they're attacking Rohan from the west, because otherwise it doesn't really make much sense that they sailed through Osgiliath, because Osgiliath was whatchamacallit. Osgiliath was still fortified at this time.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't have because they would have had to pass past Minas Tirith, Osgiliath, and 2 other cities as well, I believe. No, they've probably come up here and gone through the River Isen and past Helm's Deep.
Yeah, because that would explain how they picked up the Dunland allies.
But
They sack Edoras. Although, if I'm really looking at the map, honestly,
The only place for them to go. Can you zoom in on Rohan more?
yes, let me control.
Oh, this is great. Well, it doesn't really make much sense for them to face them in battle at Edoras and then go to Helm's Deep, because this is where Helm's Hammer comes true. So it would actually make more sense for them to face them maybe north of Edoras. But Helm's Deep is far north. And if they're already taking the fords of Isen.
Well, there's a river, the Snowborn River's right there. Maybe they do. Maybe they do come up through the Anduin. Or they could go over the mountains. Maybe they do a Hannibal. They've got elephants. They've got elephants. Maybe they pull a Hannibal and they go over the mountains.
Or maybe they feign retreat to Gondor, but they really make for Helm's Deep, not thinking that they would go farther into the depths of them,
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah,
maybe it'll be.
I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, me too. I think it's going to be cool. And
if they were smart, what they would do is the writers would have asked Peter Jackson, what should we do? They will have
I would imagine there's going to be a fair bit of that.
Yeah, there will be an announcement that Peter Jackson helped with this.
Right before it comes out, yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe not even right, but just to start building hype. They don't need to build it right now.
Yeah, because this comes out next year. I imagine, because this is HBO, I imagine what they'll do is this will come out, and then probably a quarter of the year later, in the next quarter, House of the Dragon Season 2 will come out.
I can't imagine that HBO could kind of screw this up. Do you think they could screw this up?
They could. They 100% could. I don't think they will.
It's not going to be like all woke, right? I mean,
well, how do you do that?
How would you do that?
The only thing I could see them doing, and this Miranda Otto would have to not care anymore. But I could see Miranda, I could see if there's a voiceover of her saying something like, before Shield Maidens existed, before women were allowed to take the battlefield.
I could see them saying, like, Shield Maidens existed. Like, our culture needed Shield Maidens. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But because it's her doing it, I feel like it'll work.
I agree, because she's actually one of the strongest feminist icons, like, in fictional history.
Yeah, I don't think it will feel like we're being preached at in the same way that it felt like in, like, Rings of Power and other stuff we've seen.
Yeah, I hope not. But
Frodo's trending.
Frodo's trending. Oh, no. No, but yeah, anyway, so I was just showing that other map to you from the first age, because it does get crazy how different, like, it puts into perspective of like even where the Shire is, and like the river that is now the sea that where Linden is. It's crazy. Yeah. Like the Grey Havens was a lake.
Mm-hmm.
which I find just bewildering. But anyway,
Gee, I should have been looking for something else for us to talk about as we started winding up with this. Let's see.
well, I mean, like, I'm not out of stuff to talk about. There's plenty of stuff to talk about. Lord of the Rings. I guess we might as well address it. I mean, the Velma show does not look appealing at all. As somebody who
No, I don't care. I don't care about it.
As somebody who consumes product in the sense of like, I can now actually feel like I'm getting more out of something by watching Mahler or Gary or Az or anybody explain it. Just talk about something they like, and then they just like, I enjoy that more now than watching actual presentations put on by, I don't know, like, I guess people who don't like me, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't want to watch Velma, and I'd rather watch Gary talk about Velma.
Well, what's so ridiculous is, she got on her hind horse. What's up, Brolin? She got on her hind horse the other. Actually, this wasn't the other day. It might have been about a month ago, and she says, I'm not going to show my kids The Office. And it's like, lady, The Office is the only reason you have a job.
If she's trying to backtrack off her Office fame, that's literally all she has. In my opinion.
You think people know you because of that crappy late night TV show thing you did? People don't care that you used to write for the Stephen Colbert Show.
No, people would actually like you less if they knew that. I'm telling you, I genuinely think the only thing.
The Colbert Report.
Oh, it's even worse. At least the Daily Show was funny.
I don't know. The Colbert Report was funny. His current show is not.
He was funnier on. He was funnier on the Daily Show. Back when Stephen Colbert had a small bit in that show.
Oh, that's going further than I watched late night TV.
Oh yeah, you gotta lurk more.
But yeah, no, it's ridiculous to sit there and criticize the show that made you famous, the show that has supplied half the people of the audience that you're seeking joy, laughs. I'm not someone that watches The Office every day. I know some people that do, but I watched The Office. I watched the entire thing. I thought it was a very funny show. And every now and then I still watch episodes. But
I'm going to stop you right there and say that The Office is one of the best shows of all time. I own every season on Amazon, a la carte. I didn't want to pay Paramount to watch the show. They built their entire streaming platform off of taking that show from Netflix. And that was bad. That was like, everyone was like, what?
Who did?
Paramount was like, hey,
this is one of those times I love
Peacock
because NBC built their entire thing. Yep, Peacock.
Yeah, which I had Netflix, and I had literally watched. I wish there was a statistic. I would love to see my statistics from Netflix about like how many times I've watched certain shows, just because I watched it.
That might be a little scary.
Well, I'm sure it's there. The computer records all, Caleb. But
amen. Our powerful overlords.
Yes, excellent. Yes, sponsor us, overlords.
But yeah, it's ridiculous, and this new stuff that's coming out about like she's put herself in the show because she was like a fan of. Oh my god, I can't remember his name. Shaggy. And she's like shipping the character that is based off of her with Shaggy. It's just it's weird, it's creepy. We're hypersexualizing minors. There's a whole lot of terrible stuff that's still happening in Hollywood. And I don't know why, like, you've got you've got a large portion of people still going, hey, we know these people were on these planes. What's going on, world? And you think they would do anything they could to move away from that story. And putting out content like this is just doing more. It's just allowing us to have more ammunition to question their story.
I'm just surprised at how much vitriol she has for
Like, there's
material
no
that's-
way HBO contacted a lawyer to say, hey, you think this is a good idea? And if they did, that lawyer needs to be disbarred because it's not a good idea.
Well, I don't know. I mean, this is all where we're in a gray space. And people are taking what they think they can get away with now. Like, we used to kind of have this like, you can't do something like that. But now it's more like, let's see if you can do that. So, that's kind of where it feels like we approach things now. But I mean that in a sense of, I watched Mindy Kaling also come into one of my other favorite shows, which is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And there's a part of that show where, and again, another show, it's probably my show where if I could erase my memory and watch a show from the beginning, I would do that. Because I love It's Always Sunny. Very funny show.
Very good. The first like 7 seasons are better than the other ones.
I have no input on that other than every season is good. I love episodes in every season. They are very, very funny. I really enjoy them. There's a season where Dennis leaves. He decides to raise one of his kids.
Yeah.
And he's still in the season pretty much a lot. But he does miss, I would say, probably misses the best episode of It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, it's because he went to go do that AP Bio show.
Yeah, which is a terrible show. And so that is another point I was going to bring in after this is just as a huge fan of Glenn, he's my favorite character in It's Always Sunny. I respected him for going and doing his own thing in AP Bio. I think there were just some things that didn't work about that project. But this show, it just feels like a bad call. It just feels weird and awkward. And I blame Daniel Tosh for a lot of this because he came out with that show Brickleberry, and it feels like a lot of the same animation. And I liked Brickleberry, honestly. At the time, it was fine and funny, but I feel like a lot of these shows have taken that same exact style of television and ran with it, which I guess I can't blame if it's cheap to make. I'm here on YouTube.
Well, yeah, you've got a bunch of these recent adult like animation shows that all kind of feel like they're trying to nail the same magic that Family Guy and The Simpsons and American Dad and Bob's Burgers and all of them nailed. And what they're doing is they're saying, oh, this is the adult show, so we must be adult. It's like, no, that's not what was so clever and funny about Family Guy. What was funny about Family Guy is you had adult content in a way that you could still almost, you shouldn't, but you could almost show it to your kid because there was stuff in the same way that, you go back and watch 90s Nickelodeon shows as an adult and you're like, oh, that's what they were saying. It's a little more obvious in something like Family Guy, but there's still like a family-esque friendly storyline every now and then. You could still show it to your family and not be completely like, oh, I can't believe they said that. At least early on. Later on, it does get much more mature rated.
Yeah, it's like when you find out as an adult that like Shaggy's got such a big appetite because he's a stoner. Like you didn't realize it as a kid. You realize the guy, this guy's just always hungry. That's funny. That is funny.
Mm-hmm.
Him and his dog are always getting in trouble because they're always looking for food. Zoinks! We gotta find some big sandwiches, Scooby. Scooby Snacks.
That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, well, I liked Scooby-Doo growing up. But what I was talking about with Always Sunny with this is there's an episode where Mindy Kaling comes into It's Always Sunny, and she tries – it's a joke in the show. They play well in the show, which is why I was like, oh, Mindy Kaling's actually pretty funny if she kind of took this whole she took this whole position in the show of like, hey, I'm here to replace Dennis, and then they kind of turned it back on her of like, no, you're not going to replace him, And Dennis shows back up in the end of it, and she just goes on this tirade of like you're basic. All your stuff is played. So she just attacks Glenn Howerton in the show, and albeit they gave Glenn the grace of in his own show letting him defend himself, but in this show it's like I'm such a big fan, and I didn't want to. I don't like to see him ridiculed. I don't want to see his name not do well, and I just worry. Like I just I don't know. He's so funny and smart, and I followed his career. Like I know where he's gone to school, and like I know it sounds weird, but like he's such an inspiration in a lot of different ways because those guys are my favorite comedians. They're so funny.
Well, his Charlie Day's commencement address that he gave to was it like it's like Ithaca, isn't it? Isn't that where he went?
I don't know. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Well, he gave a commencement address where he went to college, and it's perfection in itself. It's an amazing speech. But what I kind of wanted to ask you, have you watched the new season of Jack Ryan yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, well, let me without spoiling anything, because it has been out for a little while, but I would hate to spoil anything. Jack Ryan is one of those examples of Amazon doing stuff right. There's one instance where it kind of feels like this female character is getting something just because she's female.
Okay.
But it almost feels earned retroactively later. Like, so one of the issues with current writing of characters, and I hope you'll agree with me on this, is there's no payoff anymore. They say they said
you're leaving me on the edge of my seat here.
Yeah, I know. I had this all laid out. You've got you have a female character that is supposed to basically be the same thing as a male character. But the male character, the way that character is written in the original thing, you see the urn. So, for instance, we'll use Lord of the Rings, and this will probably be the last thing we talk about. But so let's say Lord of the Rings. Okay, so let's say in 100 years they redo Lord of the Rings and they make Aragorn a woman. Okay, well, if they use the same way they do it now, then all that will happen is they'll skip the Strider scene, so there'll be no mystery. They'll go straight to the Council of Elrond. She'll show up in a gown with a crown on her head and just go, "I am the Queen of Gondor." And there'll be no payoff, or she won't have earned that in the same way that Viggo Mortensen earned it in the Council of Elrond and the first season, Bree.
And the only reason Boromir will join the council is because he's been staring at Aragorna, and she's just been, I want to have her for myself, and he'll go and join the Fellowship just for her.
Yeah. But as a quick wrap up, because we actually have to get out of here relatively soon. I big fan of the Jack Ryan show. Amazon, every now and then Amazon nails it with stuff. And in fact, I would actually argue that Rings of Power is like the only thing they've done since they start producing stuff that they and Wheel of Time, but I didn't watch it and I never read the books. So I don't know anything about it. But Amazon usually does really good stuff, and they just destroyed all of their credibility with Rings of Power. But yeah, so I recommend Jack Ryan. And I am very happy and very excited because in 30 days, we get the second season. 20 days, we get the second season of Clarkson's Farm with Jeremy Clarkson. And that is with the issues with Amazon Jeremy Clarkson, I will do a video on later this week because I am very livid, but still very hopeful, because the good thing is that even if Clarkson does wind up leaving Amazon, his good friend Richard Hammond has a working relationship with Warner Discovery right now, and if they decide to do any more Top Gear like stuff, I expect it will be on HBO Max.
Man, you could even try to go over to Netflix, but I know he's towed the line a little too closely this time for them.
For Netflix, definitely.
Yeah, but so we appreciate it, guys. I did want to say another recommendation out there. I loved Bullet Train, very good. We can talk about that next time. I got a bunch to talk about with that. Thank you guys all for joining us out there. Please remember to like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications button. And as Caleb would have me remind you, make sure to follow us at Kings_Advisors. Is that right?
Nope. KingsAdvisors _. I tried to put the underscore in the middle, but apparently it was already taken.
Wow. Don't follow those guys. Actually, probably give them a follow. It's all free. Thanks a bunch, guys. We appreciate it. You have a good one.
You too.